you want the best fan-made content for this Premier League season?
Bringing that real fan experience. Want to see some crazy?
Wherever you are in the world,
bringing you the latest opinions
and fan reactions.
Back again.
Welcome to FanPark Live.
Brand new shows every week.
UFF are going hard this year, you know. So make sure you lock in.
Come on!
Arsenal 1, Liverpool 1. Chesney Hawks, aka Mo Salah, doesn't turn up in the 7th big game of the season for Liverpool.
Wow.
Informed striker Lacazette strikes again for Unai Emery's men. Is this 1 point game for Liverpool? Are we now seeing the new pragmatic football of Liverpool take a back seat for these away games? And are we moving into a world where pragmatism is required? We want to hear from Liverpool fans, Arsenal fans alike. 1-1 it is finished in the game. Smash that like button and we'll be back with you in a few moments. And with a fantastic goal from Lacazette, Arsenal pull it back from being 1-0 down, courtesy of a wonderful strike from James Milner. But we have witnessed, for me, another dogged performance from Liverpool away from home. A defensive masterclass in many, many ways. They were sensational keeping Arsenal at bay. We are now looking at a new Liverpool, a stronger Liverpool, a classier Liverpool, especially away from home. They're not this all guns blazing, all, you know, firing everything in the kitchen sink at these attacks. But how much is that impacting that brilliant, genius attacking three from last year? Because it is now 7 games against elite level, top level sides for Mo Salah and Liverpool. And Mo Salah is yet to put a performance in. The player that Liverpool fans were comparing to Messi and Ronaldo last season. I want to hear from Liverpool fans about this draw today. Did it feel like a defeat after leading for so long? And Gooners, are you happy with, again, for me, more progression under Unai Emery, a strong mentality to come back in a game that you dominated? We want to hear from you on 0203 606 0315. And remember to check out the description below. We've got an amazing offer for you from our partners at NetBet. You have to be over the age of 18, but 40-1 offers on Hazard to score tomorrow against Crystal Palace. Make sure you check that out. But I'm joined, of course, by my main man, Adam Childs, resident Gooner.
I love it.
Honestly, like, look, you didn't win today, right?
No, we didn't.
We know that. We'll put that fact out there for everyone to see. But are you happy with that performance? Are you happy with the way your team came back?
Terry, listen, I have to applaud these boys. They were fantastic today. There's a lot of people out there that said Arsenal were going to get rinsed today. 4 goals. And what did I see? A resolute, dogged performance from Arsenal as well. Yeah, we had a couple of hairy moments. You're always going to have that with bloody Mustafi playing at the back and Leno, who has a mistake in him. However, Xhaka, what a performance he put in. Torreira. The midfielder that we've been crying out for years.
For me, if Torreira keeps if Torreira keeps performing like this on a consistent level, he's on par with Kante.
Terry, I'm not even mad at that.
On par with Kante.
I'm not mad at that.
Performances like that.
Yeah.
He dominated the 3-man midfield of Liverpool.
Of course he
schooled them, and he's a baby.
He's a young boy.
Smashed Liverpool's midfield today.
There we go.
The majority of the time. But of course, you're going to concede opportunities to a very good team like Liverpool, and there were still those hairy moments because most Arsenal fans will admit they're still a work in progress.
That's right.
Do you feel a draw was a fair result?
I probably do, because Liverpool, they hit the post twice. They had a goal, if I'm going to be fair and honest, which should have realistically stood, but, you know, over the course of the season, these things even themselves out. But we had our chances as well. And Lacazette's goal was exquisite.
Ah.
It was sumptuous. Well done. What a man.
It was.
What a man.
It was to turn the way he did. It was like an ice hockey player.
You know what I
Like, he
mean?
turned on the sixpence and then curled it past
Just
one of the best defenses in the Premier League,
Whooshed
one of the
it
best
around.
defensive teams in Europe. We will talk a little bit about Liverpool's defensive display later because they have, for me, become a defensive team now.
Whoa.
It's especially away from home against the bigger sides, or away from home in general. They are, they're not committing too many men forward. They've got solid banks of players defending.
Yeah.
They're dogged. The counter attack on the way, and it was almost a perfect Liverpool display without doing very much.
Yeah.
They still nearly walked
Yeah.
away with the 3 points if it wasn't for a bit of, a great pass from Iwobi, but a bit of magic from Alex Lacazette. It really was great. And look, Liverpool fans, we're going to delve into all these subjects in more detail later, but I do want to hear your thoughts on Mo Salah. It is the 7th game against an elite level side,
got to know.
and your star player is simply not turning up. What is wrong with Mo Salah? Is he just Chesney Hawkes? Is he a one-season wonder who is turned now into that flat-track bully? He's going to do it against the lesser teams. He'll do it against Cardiff. He'll do it against Huddersfield. He'll do it against Hotel Red Star Belgrave. But Mo Salah, he cannot do it against the big boys at the moment. What is wrong with him?
Where was he today, Terry?
He was. He disappeared, bruv. You know that film that had what's that actor James Nesbitt in The Missing, about kids that get stuck? That's what he was. He's The Missing.
There we go.
Are you going to see his face tomorrow morning? I expect to see across Liverpool on milk cartons. Mo Salah's face missing
Where
again
is he?
in action in a big game.
Pete.
We got any calls ready, J Ron? Let's get the calls on, my brother. Let's do this, and then we'll jump into some more subjects. Hello, welcome to FanPark Live. What's your name?
Hi, my name's Eden.
Hello, mate. How you doing?
Yeah, not too bad at all, actually.
Good.
Doing
Who
quite
just-
well. Arsenal fan.
You're
so-
Arsenal fan. Good. How are you feeling after coming back in that game, my friend?
Yeah, massive. I think that's a massive point for Arsenal, if I'm honest. I think that builds confidence for our team. It shows that we can put in defensive performances when we want to, and we still look dangerous on the attack. It was none of that Mourinho part the buzz business. I thought we defended really well. Mustafi usually goes missing in games. I can't fault him today. I thought he was immense at the back. Our midfield, Torreira, absolute superstar. And all down the spine, really. If you think from Lacazette, held up the ball, demanded where he wanted the ball to be played, made runs inside. I don't think Liverpool could handle us today, if I'm honest.
No, mate, I agree. Do you know what?
Well
I agree with everything you've said there, and I think that I don't actually think Arsenal put in a sort of dogged defensive display. I think that was more Liverpool today. Liverpool, yeah, but Arsenal were disciplined, but they attacked brilliantly, and I think that had it not been, you know what, the one player that probably let you down today was Henrik Mkhitaryan, and I forget the stats today who had the most shots, because there was loads of pop shots and things. There was so many opportunities in both halves where Arsenal broke into the box, or they had the ball in the right positions, or the ball came to Mkhitaryan, and time again, he made mistake after mistake after mistake, which cost you having an opportunity on goal.
That's right.
And I think for the vast majority of that game, Arsenal were on top. They dominated the majority. Liverpool had their spells, which happens in all big games. But Arsenal were absolutely sensational. And I think that, in my honest opinion, they were unlucky to walk away with just a point. If they would have nicked a last-minute winner, it would have been thoroughly deserved by Arsenal today. I thought they were majestic.
Absolutely. Again, like I said, I totally agree with that. Mkhitaryan, if I'm honest, his season, it's been bad. He's actually, for me, the Carling Cup game midweek, he was shocking. He was shocking. But what I'm looking at when I'm looking at my team is that Emery's allowing players to, almost hang themselves. Mkhitaryan can't really, call Emery out and say to him, I should be starting games anymore.
Yeah.
He's getting starts in big games. He's not showing up. He's getting starts in games where, he should be the main man. He's not showing up. So, Mkhitaryan can't complain if he finds himself on the bench, or if not even better, on the transfer list come January.
Woo!
Mate, I agree. Do you know what's interesting as well, right? There's always this debate amongst fans, and it generally depends about how they feel about a said player or a said manager. But often managers, when they're disliked, they get the blame for an individual not performing. So Mkhitaryan at Man United, it was Jose's fault because he's a terrible manager. He doesn't know how to manage people. He then goes to Arsenal under Arsene Wenger, and again, Wenger has picked up a majority of the blame okay, well, he's gone to another really poor manager. 3 managers in 18 months Mkhitaryan has had in the Premier League, and you're seeing the same player making the same decisions and the same mistakes under 3 managers at 2 separate clubs. And it goes to prove the point that sometimes you have to look at the individual player and say, you are not good enough for the elite level in English football. And
Absolutely.
and I think that, Mkhitaryan, for me, he's not a Premier League player. Doesn't mean he won't do well back in, the Bundesliga, or he won't do well in Serie A. The Premier League is not for that guy. We've got a super chat on our channel here, mate, and it says that based on this performance, this is from Ashley Knight. He says, based on this performance, I think Arsenal can compete for the title. What's your view on the progression of your side as an Arsenal fan? Do you feel that's a little bit too much too soon?
Yeah, I think title talk is way too soon. The title talk for me is way too soon. If I'm going to be completely honest, I'm surprised at the start United has made. I'm also slightly surprised at the start Spurs have made. So, I always thought as an Arsenal fan this season, top 4 would be progression for us. Top 4 would be a good season for us, And the way that United are falling off, like obviously, they're falling off only 3 points behind, but I'm looking at that top 4 is definitely something we should be trying to push for. Top 4 in a trophy this season will be massive for Arsenal. Absolutely massive.
Mate, I totally agree. And, I said a few weeks ago, Man United will pull themselves back into that race, and they've already started to do that. The interesting thing for me is from 1st to 7th where United are, but I think they'll soon overtake Bournemouth. There's only 7 points, and with 11 games in, and I think it just goes to show the difference. I think the differences between the likes of Arsenal, Man United, Spurs, compared to maybe the 3 above us all, is there's a bit more belief at Liverpool and a bit more belief at Manchester City. But I think that's what Arsenal are now starting to gain, and they'll be galvanised by picking up that point today. Because I think under Wenger, if you'd have conceded that goal against the run of play,
flat,
you would have gone flat. You may have conceded a second goal. And then that could then go and spark a really bad 4 or 5 run of games. And I think Unai Emery is getting the mentality back, which for me is much more important than the style of play and the individuals that you have at the club.
Absolutely. 2 things I just want to just leave with. I think under Wenger last year, we would have gone gung-ho to get the equaliser real quick, and we would have been picked off again, and we would have been 2-0 down. That is what we used to do. We would react to going a goal down by, going gung-ho, and then we'd get picked off again, and we'd be 2-0 down, and then we'd get one back, and it'd be 2-1. It'd be too much, too little, too late. Yeah. And the second thing I just want to make a point of, I'm looking at the league table, and I'm looking at what's going on in Europe, and I can honestly see Spurs dropping down into the Europa League, and even United dropping into the Europa League. And then that would make it interesting come February, March, who prioritises the Europa League, who prioritises top 4, and things like that. So I don't look at it as like Chelsea and Arsenal battling out for the Europa League. I look at it, Chelsea probably pushing more for the title, but it would be a mad scramble for who wants to kind of prioritise the Europa League to get into the Champions League.
Yeah, I get that, mate.
With those teams that are left around.
Great shout. Great call. Thank you very much, my friend. Javon, let's bang on a few more calls before we jump onto the subjects. Hello, welcome to FanPark Live. What's your name?
Hi, Liam.
Who? Liverpool? Hello?
Liam's gone, mate.
Hello, mate. You there? Who do you support?
Liverpool.
Okay, mate. What's on your mind after that 1-1 draw at the Emirates today? How you feeling?
It was a good game. I didn't catch the first half hour because I was working.
That
connection was a really entertaining game, guys.
Call. Try and call us back. That connection was not. I could not hear a word you're saying. Let's get another call on, please, J. Ron.
We're not just trying to cut off Liverpool fans, though, man.
No, we want to hear the guy. Hello, welcome to FanPark Live. What's your name?
Teo.
Teo, how you doing, mate? Who do you support?
Liverpool.
Liverpool. What's on your mind? You got 3 points in the bag. Lacazette snatches them away from you. How you feeling after that draw?
I'm not going to lie, a little bit salty, obviously, because there's a couple hit the post. One that was onside that was given offside, but you've just got to take that. But I won't lie to you. You're one of those guys that does manage to rile me and a few of the other Liverpool fans up quite a bit, just with the stuff that you say. Obviously, it's quite controversial. So you want people to obviously talk about Mo Salah a bit. I completely disagree with your opinion.
Okay.
I kind of think that his performance is sort of symptomatic of everybody else's performance in the team at the moment, where it's a little bit slow. Everything's not quite clicking. We're not the same team that we were attacking last year. But I think that comes with trying to become a stronger defensive unit. And also, every other team seems to get a lot of sympathy. West Ham, they've brought a few new signings in. They've been given that time to sort of bed them in. We've got Fabinho coming in. We've had Keita coming in and get injured. We've had Oxlade-Chamberlain from last season out injured. We've got a lot of players that are sort of key to our midfield that give us that other option of players running from deep that we don't have at the moment. So a midfield like Arsenal that's really dynamic and someone like Torreira that's going to get beyond players is going to run rings around us like he did today. But I don't think we can't compete with Arsenal like the other caller rung in and said. I think that's a bit of a joke to say that. It was 1-1. It's a draw for Arsenal. We take that a point on the road and then we try to get the 3 points at home.
Listen, I
Controversial, Terry.
listen, I think
Trying to rile up Liverpool fans.
Well, the thing is, Liverpool are top of the league, right? So they are doing a fantastic job, and I've continually praised them. And I had done it again today. We're going to do a segment on it later on in the show. I think that Klopp's done the right thing. The thing that's most interesting for me is that a lot of people like myself said that playing that all-out attack style football, although it be, I remember Liverpool fans were calling my show last year telling me that the most important thing in football is entertainment. Well, Liverpool for me, even though it was a good game today, Liverpool to me are not playing that swashbuckling, attractive football they were last year, because what Jurgen Klopp is actually trying to do is win the title, and you need to be much more defensively sound, especially away from home. So I do think that is a good result. But with Mo Salah,
I think that's why he's tried to buy Fekir, though, because that's that thing that we've not got now, that Coutinho-type player that can get you through these games against Arsenal. And like you bring on Welbeck, and obviously not you because you're a Man United fan, but the other lad that's with you, you bring on Welbeck, you change things a little bit. We've not got that player anymore that can just bring us a moment of magic from nowhere.
Not
Salah
Shaqiri, no?
performs when the team performs. A lot of people said he dragged us through last season in some performances, but I didn't really see that. I saw Salah scoring most of his goals when we was having them routes where it was sort of 7-1 or 5-0 and things like that. So for me, we've not got that player at the moment that will do that thing where when Klopp's saying sit in, defend, we'll bring on Joel Matip. We've got no one who's going to create that magical moment like Coutinho was.
So, okay, but Coutinho went in January, and from that point onwards, you made it to a Champions League final, and your attacking football was regarded, as, in my opinion, as the best in Europe last year. On your bench today,
we didn't win that final because we defended really poor and we couldn't keep Madrid out. So
I understand that. Hang on, I understand that. But on the bench today, you've got Daniel Sturridge, you've got Adam Lallana, and you've got Shaqiri. Now, you picked Shaqiri up for 13 million, but if anybody tries to convince me he's only worth 13 million pound, you're deluding yourselves. He's a 40 million pound player if you bought him without a release clause like you did. Great business, by the way. Yes, you've not got a Coutinho, but you've done brilliant things in attack since then. And I look at Mo Salah today, and I look at him as a player that people would value at the end of last season as a 150, 200 million pound player. I'm really sorry, but I expect more from him. There was an opportunity for him to win the game for Liverpool towards the end. Really poor pass across. He can't beat a man at the moment. Against the smaller teams, he's doing it. But against the big sides...
You've got to remember the Champions League final. There was tons of sloppy passes from Salah in that. People seem to... I think people hold him in higher regard now because of what he'd done last season.
Of course they do.
When you think about it, last year, I keep saying to people, Mo Salah wasn't perfect last year. He was so frustrating.
Listen, mate, but no player...
Fantastic player on his day.
But no player is perfect. The point is, he scored over 40 goals last year. He was your talisman. He was the reason you made it to Champions League finals.
And he was compared to who?
And you guys, as Liverpool fans, were comparing him to Messi and Ronaldo. So I am now just doing the same thing and saying, where has he gone?
I think what you do, though, is a few idiots that ring in and give those sort of opinions. He's kind of annoying. It's sort of like when Salah got the Pukas for his goal. That really annoyed me because it wasn't even his best goal, and I would have personally given it to Bale just because it was the Champions League final over at Kick.
What's
I respect this guy. I respect this guy.
Liverpool fans overhyping him. Even people at FIFA have done it. It's kind of
crazy. Listen. I
really respect
Liverpool
this guy.
fans like you that say, you even said something else in this call, and I'm not trying to attack Mo Salah here, but you said that a lot of his goals were like the fourth goal in a 5-0 run.
Yeah,
that is almost a definition of a flat track bully. That's what a flat track bully does. They pad their stats up in moments that don't really matter. So all I have done is ask that question this season, whether people think that's what maybe Mo Salah is compared to this world-class talisman who does what Lacazette did today as an example. Does what Martial, who is probably the best.
I think when the whole
did
team's
today.
firing on all cylinders, you'll see more Salah sort of score against the big teams. You see he's like he did last year. And even Arsenal have to be up there as a big team now. They are playing fantastic football.
Stop it.
I get so triggered by Arsenal fans and Robbie at Arsenal Fan TV because they just completely contradict themselves all the time. They sort of talk about Liverpool nicely, and when they come up to play them, it's just the disrespect. Like today, when Aubameyang went off, no one booed him. But when Salah's going off, people are booing him. What has Salah ever done? It confuses me so much because it's like they're trying to create this rivalry that's not there.
Yeah, I get that.
The biggest game of
mate,
Arsenal
but listen,
season
your
today on
fans.
Arsenal.
Listen. It's not Arsenal fans. It's all fans do that. Liverpool fans last year were booing and singing Luis Suarez songs to Patrice Evra when you played West Ham. All groups of fans
really
have people like that.
That annoyed me. Not every fan's the same as that, and the same when that all came out and the racial thing came out and they came out in the tops, obviously supporting Suarez. I just thought that was bad PR, and I'm from a mixed family as well, so do you know what I mean? Not everyone has that same opinion, but I just mean in terms of Arsenal trying to forge this sort of rivalry that it happened with City last year. They tried to sort of make out that we've got this big rivalry because they've picked us to the title once, they've met us in the Champions League twice. He's just sort of trying to force something that's not there. Arsenal's biggest game of the season is not Liverpool at home. They've got games against Tottenham, big rivals that they have. They could go to finals in a few cups that they're in. So I don't understand why they're trying to pip this as their biggest game. It's just not.
No.
Mate, really appreciate your call. Articulate and great points as ever. So well done for that, mate. Really appreciate it.
That guy.
And you know what? See, that's the kind of challenge I like. He can challenge what I say. There's no triggering for me here because I appreciate where he's coming from. In all fairness, he's actually.
He's backing up what we say.
He is, and I do say a lot of things. I do say stuff to trigger a response because I want to hear from people. That's part of my job. The interesting thing is that when you talk about him there, he said, he's stat packing. Against lesser sides or scoring lots of goals, not overly important. If you win 5-0 and you score the fourth and fifth goal, it's like, okay, great. But
it's inconsequential.
Yeah, to the overall result of that game as an example. And it's an interesting one. But, someone said, hey, he wrecked you, Terry. Not really. We kind of agreed.
We agreed.
I think we agreed in a lot of things there, but it's an interesting one. Where I sort of disagree is this. I think they're right. Some of the new players do need time to settle. But we've got to remember here, and this is the part of my rhetoric that Liverpool fans don't hear. They're top of the league.
Yeah.
I think that I think the way they've gone this year, and it makes me laugh because of the abuse I got from saying that last year that they're too attacking and they don't understand how to defend. And that Jurgen Klopp is never going to win a major trophy unless he adapts a balanced approach. Yep. He hasn't listened to me as an individual,
But
he has done that and he's run with it. And Liverpool now, especially in the big games, are one of the best teams in Europe because they are almost impossible to break down. Now it's not as entertaining and as flamboyant and as beautiful as last year, but it's better football.
And how many goals did it say that they conceded?
Well, they've conceded. I think it was like they've
14.
got 12. Well, no. They've got 14 clean sheets in 2018.
There you go.
Nobody else in the Premier League has more.
Nah.
And that's why Liverpool could win the league this year. It's nothing to do with their attacking players. Sir Alex Ferguson said it. Great attacks win you games. Great defenses win you titles.
That's right.
And Liverpool have taken that approach, and I think they have to get used to it. But what I then want to see with this change is, and this is one of those things where you think Mo Salah was world-class in a team that just went all-out attack. Can he now do it in a team that has less support around him because they're more pragmatic in their approach? They're more Jose Mourinho style football than they are Pep Guardiola this year. Okay, it's true, but it's true. It's what they are. The facts don't lie. We want to talk to you. We're gonna jump into a Lacazette conversation next. That we really want to have a talk about that young man and what he's doing. But before that, I've got our new betting partners called NetBet. All the information is in the description below. You have to be over the age of 18 to sign up. So please go on and get that done. We have an offer for you, which is a bet of 40 to 1. I'm going to do my phone. Just do what you got to do, my man. 40 to 1 on Eden Hazard to score in tomorrow's game between Chelsea and Crystal Palace. All the terms and conditions are on the website. It's all been playing up on the screen for you. And I'm going to take you through what it looks like when you click on that link on your phones. J-Ron is going to put that up on the screens. Remember, by helping us out with our betting partners, if you do fancy a bit of a responsible gamble, this is one of the best ways that you can help support us here at FanPark Live. And you'll see, our little badge and our names all over it. So that's what you'll see, the promo code there, FanPark, for the 40 to 1 Eden Hazard deal. what I will then do is click onto this page here. I've already logged in. And this gives you an idea. This is where you can go and put all your different bets on and stuff like this. I'll just give you... Let me just move my phone to this side. So let's click on here. Show you how to do it. So I'll click on all sports. Just click on football. I only really bet on football. I don't really look at anything else at all. Let's go and have a look at tomorrow's game. Let's have a look at tomorrow's fixtures, actually. So let's just say I want to go for it. City to win at home and Chelsea to win at home. Let's click on here. Let's put these units... I'm interested to know. I'll see what we're going to... Yeah, sorry, I don't know what I did wrong there. I hit the wrong buttons. Oh, that's gone into the game for tomorrow. So going back into my betting slip, as you can see, you put your amounts in that you're gonna bet. It shows you your return, and then you just click on place your bets. I've got to log back in again. But that's pretty much how you do it. Remember, the information is in our description below, so please go and give us a bit of a click on there. One of the best ways you can support us here. But remember to always gamble responsibly if you do fancy a bit of a flutter. When you're ready, Javon, I just want you to capture this for us, please, my brother.
I want to talk about Arsenal being title contenders as well.
So, Lacazette.
What are we saying?
You know what? I think he was... What's the word I'm looking for here? I think he was one of the biggest casualties at the end of Arsene Wenger's reign.
That's right.
And towards the last couple of years, especially last year, the wheels just completely and utterly fell off. And you had this world-class striker join your ranks when there was no real system. There was no approach. There was no squad harmony. I think there was a lack of fitness at the football club. There was a lack of work rate. And he looks a bit, in the prime of his career, coming in, I think he was 26 when he signed. He's 27 now. You looked at him and just thought, has he made the wrong move? Can he cut it at this level as an elite level player? And a lot of people were worried. Now, remember, he still scored 14 league goals last year during that period.
And he was injured.
And he was injured for times as well. Played 32 league games, scored 14 goals.
That's almost 1 in 2, right?
Yeah, just under.
Yeah.
His record was still good in terms of goals scored. 39 games in all competitions, 17 goals. But there was a lot of umming and ahhing as to whether or not he could cut it at the very highest level. And, I, for one, never doubted him as a player. I've always said world-class striker. I think that Arsenal got an absolute snip. They got an absolute snip of a player. But this year, I think it's 11 games, 7 goals in all competitions. But not just that.
Yeah.
It's his overall play. I saw him today playing football. He's not just, no disrespect, but he's not just a Michael Owen or a Kevin Phillips or a Defoe who just finishes opportunities. He's not just a goal scorer. He can actually play football.
Yeah.
And I think he's getting better and better. His confidence is growing massively. How far do you think... I mean, remember, he's not a youngster, so he isn't going to be at Arsenal for 10 years and break goal-scoring records. But do you think he could be your first player since, like, sort of the Van Persie era to break the sort of 20, 25 league goal mark? Do you think he can do that, and do you think he will do that this year?
To break the 20 goal mark is possible. Because I've just got his stats up here. When he played at Lyon, he got 27, 21, 28, and then he got 14 last season. And as we said, he had the injury. So if he stays fit this season, there's every reason to believe that he could get 20 goals plus. But you've also got to remember, it's not just that. It's his partnership with Aubameyang, who's also got a similar amount of goals. I can't remember the exact number, but their partnership and the goals that he adds there, as you said, he was playing football. He played a ball in for Welbeck earlier today as well. It's that kind of influence that he has on the game that is massive, absolutely massive to the team. You cannot underestimate that. So yeah, I'd be happy for him to get it. But
Jeez, I didn't realise Aubameyang has 7 Premier League goals.
That's what I'm saying.
Aubameyang's record in the Premier League is 23 games, 17 goals.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
That's a madness.
So if anyone's likely to do it, he's likely to break the 20 goal barrier. But Lacazette will contribute to that as well, and I'm more than happy.
But having them both in the same team as well, and I remember saying this when the sort of era of I can't remember his name now. Wenger was coming to an end. And it was like, if the new manager can work a system and it's coming together nicely now, where you can get the best. I mean, he's top goal scorer. He's joint top goal scorer in the league, Aubameyang. Didn't score today, of course.
Yeah.
But it's that case of, Lacazette's, only 2 goals behind him. To have 2 strikers scoring at that rate.
That's it.
It's why you're. It's look. I guess you got to be good defensively. What Torreira's doing in midfield helps. But at the end of the day, if you're doing all those things, you then need people to finish off opportunities.
And that's the you also
because your defense isn't as solid as Liverpool or City's, so you need people scoring at the other end.
Exactly. And Sir Alex Ferguson, you mentioned what he said about winning titles. Over the years, he said that he needs 4 strikers to win a league as well.
Yeah.
We haven't got 4 quality strikers, but we definitely got 2, so we're halfway there. And I'm happy as a foundation to build on this. So, by all means, Wenger, thank you for everything that you did. And this could be one of the best things that you did for Arsenal because it's a great platform to build on.
Yeah, I think bringing those 2 in just before going was great.
Yeah.
Because you know what? If you hadn't have signed them and then he left, well, it's an interesting one because you didn't got this is a thing I don't think a lot of Arsenal fans realise when they were moaning about only spending 70 odd million. It was like, well, you've got like 100 to 130 million pounds worth of strikers already there. You had Ozil there that's worth a lot of money, and I think it was right to give the majority of that squad an opportunity to demonstrate who they are. And I think as we come to this summer coming in 2019, I think there'll be a little bit more than 70 million spent, and that way. I think what Unai Emery has done is genius compared to a lot of other managers that come into big clubs where they, all right, we'll get rid of those 5 and we'll bring in those 5 or 6, and there's a big overhaul. And I think you can upset the apple cart a little bit. You can get rid of some stalwarts that feel like, well, why haven't I been given an opportunity under this new guy? You can create a bit of a problem. He's done great there, but Arsenal firing. Question for you: there are some players on form right now in the league. Aubameyang's one, Hazard. Richarlison, I'm just going through the list here of people I mentioned. Callum Wilson, of course, Lacazette, Anthony Martial. Who of these guys is the most informed? Who has been the most informed player for you in the league so far this year?
If we're talking purely statistics, we're looking at a Lacazette or an Aubameyang. If we're looking at influence on the team, then it has to be Torreira. Because he brings a certain calmness and peace to the midfield that we didn't have before. Xhaka, it's like 2 completely different players. Xhaka today looked like a world beater. Like he was all over the shop. And you look at him last season, you compare that to last season, he was out at sea by himself, just getting overrun by opposition midfielders. So for me, the informed player for our team, for Arsenal, has to be Torreira. But statistically, it would be a Lacazette or a
of course. And goal scorer is always still the limelight.
Yeah.
Well, I think when Gary Neville was asked on a Q&A the other day who deserves the Ballon d'Or, and he was like Sergio Ramos. Yeah. Because like people... And I think someone actually thought he meant that really. I think he was talking about the fact that he busted Salah's arm and Liverpool didn't win but equally, it's like I always get frustrated that attackers always get held up as the best players. Like right now, I actually think the most informed player in the league is Anthony Martial. Now he's more of a winger, but equally, I'd love Player of the Year. Like when it went to Kante, I was so happy. Yeah, because it's like it's great to see a midfielder get it because it's needed for years. It's always attackers or goal scoring midfielders that win those things. It really is. Let's take a couple of calls on Lacazette, please. J-Ron. That's Javerne's new name, in case anyone's wondering. Because my stalker safe calls him that.
You got J-Ron in that.
Hello, welcome to FanPark Live. What's your name?
Nick.
Nick?
Hello?
Hello, mate. Yeah, do us a favour. Can you turn the device down in the background, please?
All right, yep.
Top man. Who do you support?
I support Arsenal.
Okay, lovely. We're talking about Lacazette, his form... His rejuvenation this year. How much has he impressed you with his growth?
Well, to be honest, Lacazette's goal today was brilliant. It was an amazing goal. But I just wanted to talk about more of Unai Emery.
Go on.
Happy birthday to him, by the way.
You guys, hello?
Yeah, go on. Keep speaking, my brother.
Yeah. No, I think Unai Emery is a proper coach. Is exactly what we needed at Arsenal. In previous years, like last year when we drew the 3-3, Wenger wasn't coaching us well. But when it comes to Unai Emery, there was time early on in the game when Mo Salah was doing a lot of the ball. There was a diagonal ball from, I think it's Gomez to Mo Salah. But you could tell Unai Emery was saying something to Arsenal, and then all of a sudden that stopped. Yeah. So
I agree. Go on, mate.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. And I think there's two players that epitomise that most. Number one is Alex Iwobi, although I think that may be more of a confidence thing. But the player I can see it most in is Hector Bellerin, because last season, that guy could not cross a ball to save his
I
life.
can't really hear you, to be honest. Oh.
I think it's your connection, mate. Not
Yeah, I
ours,
think it
to
might
be
be your
honest.
connection on there, my friend. But yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Hector Bellerin, he's getting back what we saw 2 or 3 years ago. We were like, wow, this young
I think it was
right
like
back.
4, bro.
Maybe 4. But yeah, he's getting something back. But like, I keep, I talk about a lot what people speak to me about in the footballing world with what we do here, and I've seen this a lot at my club, and I've seen it a lot at Arsenal. You'll have, because I think Hector Bellerin wasn't particularly liked by some fans because of what he said about AFTV as an example. Some players are just not universally liked.
Yeah.
So it's like, get them at my club, they're not good enough. And I'm like, okay, but then you would defend the likes of, say, Ozil, and you defend the likes of Lacazette with, well, Wenger's tactics are bad, doesn't coach right. We see that at Man United. It's like, Pogba's inconsistent and Martial was out of form because of Jose. But when it comes to Matic or it comes to Alexis Sanchez, it's like, well, no, they're just not good enough for us. And it's like, well, for me, if you're going to afford some people that excuse, you've got to do it unilaterally. And I think that's what when you see with Hector Bellerin. I just think he was a systematic symptom of the problems with Wenger being in charge at your club, and you're now starting to see a much better guy. I don't think he's reaching the levels that he was before. No. And I think, but it's slowly catching.
You can see an improvement,
and it's getting there. And I think today there was a few really good tackles that he put in, and and I think again, when you've got better players around you, you put Torreira out there, you've got attacking players that are scoring and creating. It puts more of a sense of confidence through the team. Yeah, because I think it's like, I just think confidence spreads amongst your team. Confidence breeds confidence. It really does. Let's take another call, Javern, while we're on this capture. Cheers. Bye. He's putting someone through. Who's it going to be? Hopefully better connection. Ooh. Hello, welcome to FanPark Live. What's your name?
Hey, Terry, it's Carl.
Hello, Carl. How you doing, mate? Give us your thoughts on Lacazette's performance today and the overall result.
No, I thought he was good. I thought Emery did well in not taking him off, because at some point it looks like it wasn't his day. But no, I thought he was very good. But you know what? I want to say shout out to Arsenal fans. Shout out to, I can't remember his name, your co-host there. What's his name again?
Adam,
well done, man. Good point.
Thank you, sir.
I must say, man, congrats to the manager. You guys got everything is pretty much working out for you guys in a sense.
Yeah.
Wenger left, the right time when pretty much this guy was available, because I cannot see a much better manager fitting for you guys. I think he's long-term. I think he's doing really good with the guys that he has. Yeah. To get a point from Liverpool today, that was massive. And especially you were the most dominant team.
Yep.
Right?
Yes.
Terry had touched on Mickey, said Mickey was pretty poor today.
Yep.
One thing with Terry, though, if there's ever a chance to give Josie a green light, he takes it, eh? Anyway, I don't think he was that bad, to be honest. One problem I had, I thought he was just a little bit delayed in some of his attacking.
Yeah.
I think
that's really bad. But that's really bad for an attacking player. That's really bad for an attacking player because...
No, he did some good things. He created 2 chances other than that, eh? I think on 2 instances I saw where he held the ball just a touch longer than he should. But he wasn't like a disaster. He put in a pretty good shift, I believe.
Give me your opinion, Adam. I'll stay out of this.
I don't. You're right. I don't think it was a disaster, because a disaster would have been him giving the ball to Salah to concede a goal. But I think everyone put in a certain level of performance, and he was below that. So I think when Terry speaks about Mkhitaryan, he's just saying that Mickey didn't quite meet the standard that other Arsenal players did today, and that was a shame, because had he done that, we could have got a different result.
Yeah, that is true. But he was just making out like he said he was ashamed of him. He was pretty much one of the players that pretty much didn't really put the work in. But I think he did pretty good.
I didn't say he didn't put the work.
He's done just over average.
I didn't say he didn't put the work in. What I simply stated is that under 3 managers in the Premier League now, what we saw from Mkhitaryan today is what we've seen from him for 2.5 years in the Premier League. It's some good touches, some good runs, but dilly-dallying on the ball in certain areas. Early on in the game, on the right-hand side, he lost the ball twice in a couple of minutes, which led to counter-attacks. You don't let Liverpool counter-attack against you. But the point is, you've seen Bellerin, you've seen Ozil, Lacazette, Mustafi even. You've seen players systematically start to improve under Emre. You haven't seen that from Mkhitaryan, and there comes a point in my mind where you have to sometimes stop blaming the managers for certain players not being good enough in the Premier League.
So, to be honest, yes, he hasn't improved, so you're right on that. But I think he's been pretty much okay. The other point I want to touch on, Terry, is the front three. You were asking, like, what do you think is the problem? I don't think they're clicking, and I don't think teams are playing them the same way they did last year. Teams aren't really allowing the space. So I don't think that it's because they're more defensive. Because to be honest, we haven't seen Salah pretty much playing left back, running back as that far. So it's not like the front three is now playing.
Just because they're defensive doesn't mean you're going to see. People have this weird obsession with when you say a team's playing defensively, it means that their attacking players are all going to be sitting in fullback positions. That's not what anybody means. But they are not. They're not committing as many men forward. But listen, Cole, you can call back and we can talk about that a bit later because that's just going off subject what we're on. But yeah, look, that's our conversation over surrounding Lacazette. Give us your viewpoints and opinions on that in the comments section below. I mean, let's talk a little bit about Liverpool there.
Yeah,
we'll do a call. We'll do another call and then we'll have a little chat about Liverpool's front three and Liverpool's defensive setup.
Yeah. Let's do that. Let's do that. And Mo Salah being a stammer.
Hello, welcome to FanPark Live. What's your name?
Charlie,
mate. Who do you support?
Arsenal.
Cool. Give us your views and opinions on that performance today. You happy, boy?
No, not really. And wait, is that Terry?
Yes.
Yeah, I just wanted to know why you didn't pick my call up yesterday. I was waiting half an hour. What's that about?
Yesterday?
Why would you?
What's
that about?
Why would you have called me yesterday?
Yeah.
That's so bad. Oh.
Okay, cool.
All right.
What was that?
White people are so weird, man. I mean, white people are so weird. I'm so glad I'm not white. I tell you,
it's funny because it's true, mate.
It is. Like honestly, when I hear people like that, I'm just like, why do I have to be the same as you, bruv? Why are you my people?
It's okay, man.
I'm not.
You're representing.
Actually, they're not my people. I'm from East London. They're my people. Regardless, it's true, bruv.
Love that. I thought you were gonna do that. Okay, never mind. Anyway,
what is this? This is like the worst fist bump. Hello, welcome to FanPark Live. What's your name?
Oh, it's Benedict.
Hello, Benedict. Who do you support, mate?
Arsenal fan.
Good. How you feeling after that game today?
Mate, that game was Mustafi. Where did he come from? What happened to Mustafi? I thought he was shit.
Yeah,
he was killing it today.
Yeah, he did have a very good game today. What do you think spurred him on and made him so good?
You know what I think it is? I think it was Kolasinac on that side.
But he wasn't.
I support Arsenal, mate.
I know.
Hello, I'm still here.
I know.
Yeah, I think you're listening to the stream in the background, mate. You got to turn that down.
Oh yeah, I've turned it down. I've turned it off.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Who else impressed you in an Arsenal shirt today?
Torreira and Lacazette. What about that goal, mate? Wow, it was out of nowhere.
Yeah, mate, that goal was absolute mustard. Speaking of goal scorers, we've been speaking. Some people are defending. Why are you laughing?
You're such.
Some people are defending Liverpool, but give me your opinion as a rival fan. Mo Salah and the attackers at Liverpool. Are they past their best? Are they struggling now that people have worked them out? Is it the
You know what it is, man.
What is it?
Mo Salah's not wicked this season. Not yet. Anyway, I think Mo Salah is still a top class player, yeah. But he's not really doing it as he was last season. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, he's not.
You're right.
Why do you think that? Why is that though, in your opinion?
I think after the Champions League game when he had to come out injured, from there it just went downhill for Mo Salah. You know, I don't understand why. Maybe it's the injury, maybe it's the World Cup, maybe it's the
shoulder.
It's
the shoulder. The shoulder. Oh, God bless Sergio Ramos. God bless that man. He's amazing. Do you know what's funny, right? I look. I put it down to. I don't. It's interesting. I think there's an element of rightness. I think we're looking at Mo Salah when we're talking about playing against the elite teams. He's okay against the smaller boys. But I think we're looking at a player that was brilliant in a specific system. Now that system has been changed, it hasn't worked. And this is my annoyance, when people are comparing him to like the two, in my opinion, the two greatest football players ever in Messi and Ronaldo. You're talking, okay, Messi's kind of played in the same system consistently, but Ronaldo has played for like Sporting, Man United,
But they were
Madrid.
right to do that though. Last season, Mo Salah was doing bits, mate. He was
He was. But the point I'm making is though, is that Ronaldo, for instance, has been at three major clubs and one smaller club, played in different systems with different players, and has continually delivered. We're looking at Mo Salah again. He's dropped back down to the level that he was doing at Roma.
That's it.
And that's not because.
Chelsea.
And again, he's a good player. But when you're talking about world class, when you're talking about the elite level. And I said it last year. I said he was top class. He had world class days. But to be world class, you've got to do that stuff for 3 or 4 years on the bounce.
All the time, consistently.
That's it.
Man, I'm just glad he didn't score today. Do you know what I mean?
Trust me,
oh, we are, bro.
bro.
7 out of 7 that boy is scoring against the big boys now, and I'm loving this. Honestly, this cup is full, and I'll show you here. This UFF cup is full of the tears of Liverpool fans. And listen. I'm drinking them tears, baby.
Sweet. Yeah,
I'm drinking them tears. And every time Mo Salah don't score, this cup fills up. Even higher.
Fill it up, man. Fill it up.
There we go. Brother, take care. Great call. Cheers, my man. Thank you. There we go. And if anybody wants, let me get this. My earphone is annoying me. Just let you know, put the big camera up, please, J-Ron. If anybody wants one of these UFF mugs, these are available, £5 each. Just drop us a little message below, send me your money, and I'll get one sent out to you. You can join Mug Club. And this one, as I say, is full of Liverpool fans' tears.
It's beautiful.
Salty. There we go. Tony's right, and they still haven't won anything yet.
Of course they haven't.
Terry is giving his Mo Salah talk from last week that he had to rewrite just before the show went on air. What? Why'd I have to rewrite it?
I don't know.
I said it. We were talking about this. If Mo Salah went out there, hang on, we'll capture this. Capture this, please. What?
I was gonna say do NetBet, like just don't go through it, but just announce it.
Cool, and then yeah, do that and then capture. Listen, make sure you download or sign up to NetBet. They're our title sponsors, our little betting partner. The information is in the description below. Smash yourself on that. You've got to be over the age of 18.
Yeah,
if you like a responsible gamble, give it a whirl. It's a great way to support us here on FanPark Live. Terry is a prat caller. No point talking sense to him. He's an utter bellend. I love that. Come on, Ed. Do you know what? At least that other guy earlier had the ability to come on and speak. Are you capturing? I'm capturing. Now, cool. So, the attacking three at Liverpool.
Salah! Yeah.
I'm not calling him Mohamed Salah anymore. I'm calling him Chesney.
Oh, come on, man.
Chesney Hawk, one-hit wonder. Whew. I am the one and only.
Why? Because he only did it for one season.
No. Well, yeah, at the world class. Look, listen,
I like that.
At a world class level.
Yeah. Just.
It's a little bit tongue in cheek. I don't really mean it. No, I mean
it's
it.
Not. Yeah, of course you mean it.
I mean it. Mo Salah, you're dead. You're dead. You're finished. No, I'm joking. He's not. He's a good player.
Yeah, he's alright.
But I'm gonna stand by this notion. And you put this idea in my head 2 weeks ago, when you said, "Is he becoming a flat track bully?"
Inception.
Yeah, you planted that idea in my dreams.
Damn right.
Damn you, Leo. But yeah, again, another performance today. 7 games.
Yep.
Against the big boys,
yes.
And the Premier League's supposed best player has gone completely and utterly missing.
Yep.
Is it like people have got? Listen, Liverpool fans, give us a call. Arsenal fans, 0203 606 0315. I want to hear your views and opinions on this.
I don't.
You know, Chris Kane said a few weeks ago, and I think he's been made right because Jurgen Klopp confirmed he was right, that they have changed their approach. They're not pressing from the front. Their attackers are not doing the same level of pressing they were doing last year. I think that's to reserve energy. I think it's to help keep their shape more defensive, because if they get the press gets passed through, they're a bit more exposed. So they're not turning the ball over as high up the pitch as they were as regularly, which is leading to less counter-attack goals in those dangerous positions. But do you think it's the more defensive, more dogged approach from Jurgen Klopp, which again is making them top of the league. So it's a better approach than they're all guns blazing, attacking, heavy metal football. It's a better approach now. It's a better Liverpool team. So no more giving me these tears, Liverpool fans. I'm praising you. But is it that system? You know, and of course, someone just says here, talk about Virgil van Dijk. Man is amazing. He's a monster. But the system, I think the system makes him more amazing. The system now is enhancing these defenders more. But is that what is taking away from Mo Salah? Or is it just that he hit a height last year that was a flash in the pan, a long purple patch, and actually he's now just back down to his standardized level? Is our expectations too high for what I would just consider to be a good football player? Or is the system taken away from Mo Salah and he's not now able to express his world-class abilities? Where do you sit on that debate?
There's a couple of points on this, and I was just thinking through it now, and there's something that's confused me a little bit. There is the issue of, first of all, he might have just thought, I'm going to come back to England, I'm going to prove everybody wrong, F everybody, Mourinho, he didn't want me to succeed, I'm going to come back, do bits, boom. And now it's his second season, he's like, yeah, I've lost the motivation. Could be that. Second thing, it could be people have figured him out. So where he probably had more space before, because people thought, yeah, who's this Mo Salah guy? Yeah. Mourinho thought he was a flop. They gave him space. He's not getting that same amount of space anymore. We saw today he got doubled up on. Could be that. But I was just thinking, Mane's not having the same problem. Mane, even when he went through that goal drought, he still looked as though he was a player. He was still offering something to the team. He was still getting into the right positions and maybe just missing chances. Mo Salah doesn't look like the same type of player. And I want to know, at what point do we begin to say, because everyone, the defense is, Mo Salah started slowly last season as well. At what point do we begin to say, okay, well, this is beyond the slow start?
He wasn't slow in terms of his... I'm not even talking about stats. He wasn't slow for me last year in terms of his performances and influence on the team. My issue with Salah, again, if today he was pulling strings, creating space,
that's it.
If he set up 3 or 4 chances that people missed, I would say I wouldn't count this as one of the 7 out of the games. It's not always about scoring goals, but it's simply he's doing nothing. He looks like Ozil out there.
And that's why I asked.
You know the criticism Ozil gets in big games? That's how I feel about Mo Salah right now. And I'm just going on to who scored, actually, to look at Mo Salah, to look at Firmino and Sadio Mane in terms of their performances. But it's interesting you said, though, you got doubled up on today. It was a lot harder to double up on a Liverpool player last year when they were throwing more men forward in attack. Now that you've only got, say, 4 or 5 people in their attacks as opposed to 7 or 8, you're in this situation where there's a lot more opportunity to double up on a player. So maybe it is quite simply the formation. So let's look at this.
It could be.
So again, okay, Mane this season though. So he scored 2 goals against Cardiff last week.
Yep.
Scored in the Champions League, but prior to that, he hadn't scored since well back into beyond September. So he hadn't scored for a long, long time until that moment. Let's look at Mo Salah. Mo Salah, I know he scored a few goals recently. Sorry, every time you go on a website now, you've got to click on accept that they can have your data.
Accept cookies.
So again, look, he scored goals. So in the last 5, in all fairness, like in October, he scored 4 goals. He scored 4 games running, but that was against, he scored a goal for Egypt. Sorry, he didn't. He scored against Huddersfield. He scored against this team I'd never heard of in the Red Star Belgrade. Yeah. Scored against Cardiff, but then Arsenal, no. Man City before that, no. Napoli, no. Chelsea, no. Chelsea, no. So like all the big games, literally, it's since in September, right? This is the interesting bit. So from the 22nd of September for him, against Southampton, Red Star Belgrade, Huddersfield and Cardiff, he scores goals. All the other games in that time period are 2 against Chelsea, Napoli, City and Arsenal. And not only has he not scored in those games, he has been non-existent in terms of his performances. And is that the new system of Liverpool that's killing him, or is it the fact that he's just been found out?
And that's what I wanted to sort of go back to. The debate we were having in the show before, where we said, do you tweak your system? Does the manager let go of his pride and tweak his system for a star player to get the best out of him? Or does he try to compromise the overall team shape in order to get the best out of that player, because his potential could be great? Now, the question to Liverpool fans is, do you think Mo Salah is that good that you should not be as strong defensively to allow Mo Salah to score 40 goals? Or would you rather a strong and stable defensive shape which just means that Mo Salah maybe doesn't score as many goals.
Well, you've got to look at it. So again, in the last, how many games is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So in the last, that's 4, 5, 5, 6, 7, 8. In the last 9 games, Salah has scored 5 goals, but they've all been against the smaller sides. But in that same time period, Firmino has scored 1, and Mane has got 3. So in terms of across that front three, there is a huge reduction in the amount of goals. I think Shaqiri's come on and got a few. Sturridge's got a couple, but they're not scoring with frequency. I think, look, with Salah, I think there's a bit of not being found out. I think there's been a dip in his standards because I don't think he was as good as his goal-scoring record made him out to be last year. I think he's a good player, but I don't think he's that world-class elite. But secondly, Liverpool have gone for a new structure. But what makes me most happiest about this is, look, I'm actually not happy that Liverpool are top of the league. I'd rather them play better attacking football and be 5th or 4th than top of the league playing like this. But the bit where I can sit there and just sit back and be like, I won, is this nonsense that you have to... It's all about attacking, gun-ho, beautiful, like amazing attacking football. That is not what wins you trophies. And even with Man City... They do play attacking football, but it's about holding on to possession. And it's actually, I find City games a bit like I used to find with Barcelona after a while, a little boring because the other team barely attacks. And I like today's game was an amazing game for a neutral where both teams had their moments where they're going back and forth. You don't see that in a lot of City games. So in terms of a contest, it's like I never really used to watch a lot of Mayweather fights unless he was fighting a guy I thought might have a chance of beating him because it was just defensive and he counterpunched, and it just bored me because I want to see a bit of a slugfest, if you get what I mean. Yeah. Maybe I'm not a football purist.
Maybe.
I don't profess to be, so it doesn't really bother me. But let's put some calls on. I want to ask some people about Mo Salah and the attacking, the way people attack. Some Liverpool fans are very unhappy about what I'm saying.
Of course they are.
But there we go. Hello, welcome to FanPark Live. What's your name?
Hey, man. This is Amir from UAE. Arsenal fan.
Okay, you're an Arsenal fan. We're talking about Mo Salah and his lackluster performances this year. What's your viewpoint and opinion on Mo Salah? Why is he not performing in your opinion?
Yeah, we mostly expected that he's never going to perform like he did last season, but we did expect he's going to do well, and he's not doing that too bad. I mean, he's scoring against the weaker side, but yeah, he's not been performing in the big games, so kind of like Ozil, if you want to put it.
No,
and,
I get that. Yeah, and I totally get that. I really, really do. Is he gone? Jesus. Let's get some more. Let's get some more. We've got some Liverpool fans. Hello, welcome to FanPark Live. What's your name?
Hi, I'm Rami. How's it going?
I'm very good, thank you. You a Liverpool fan, I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's on your mind with this? What's happening with Mo Salah?
I think it's a mixture of people sort of fans, you know what I mean?
All right, what's wrong with your signal? What's wrong with your signal, my brother?
I'm in Swansea right now.
You're blaming it on Wales. Yeah, it's really poor. I mean, try and find. I need you to get better signal. You sound like Stephen Hawkins.
Is this better? Or...
A little bit. Go on, tell us about Mo Salah and Liverpool. Is it the defensive setup that's holding you back, or is it Mo Salah? Is he not good enough anymore?
I think that it's sort of like a mixture of the personnel and the style of play we'll go about our game.
Sorry, I will get the next level. Sorry to be rude, but I can't. I wanted to be up here among the stars. It is. Let's get the other Liverpool fan on. Hello, welcome to FanPark Live. What's your name?
Jay.
Hello, mate. You a Liverpool fan?
Yeah.
Talk to me about your attacking system at Liverpool. Is it being held back by Klopp, or are the players just simply not delivering in that area?
First off, I just want to say you lot do a great show. Amazing.
Appreciate that, mate. Thank you.
Good over you, man.
Listen, I think, to be honest with you, ever since Buvac has left us, there's been a problem with Klopp's tactics. It's never been the same.
Okay.
We lost the Roma match. We lost the final. It just hasn't been the same. If you look at the statistics and the matches we played, apart from the, let's just say, the PSG match, we haven't really performed to the standards of last season. And I somehow, I think not buying Fekir was a big mistake, to be honest with you.
Okay.
So you think this is the assistant manager, that guy with the long hair? What was his name? Sorry.
Yeah, Buvac. I think Buvac or something like that.
But can I? So go on, mate. You go first.
I was gonna say, where do you think Fekir would have fit in the team? Number one, and what do you think Buvac would have done that would have allowed Liverpool to play differently this season?
Okay, I understand. Personally, I wouldn't be able to tell you the ins and outs of what he did because I don't work for Liverpool, you know. But since he's left, our creative style just hasn't been there, and that could be bar maybe we haven't had a type of Ox type player. Since he's left, we haven't had that type of player feeding that extra run above the midfield just to connect the strikers together. Once Firmino drops back, Ox was usually the guy who just left it forward. I'm sure he got like 3 or 4 assists towards just Salah last season.
Yeah, I get you.
So we haven't had that since then. So Ox got injured and Buvac left around the same time, and since then it could be one of them two problems, I personally think.
I get that. Let me ask you this question, my man. Like,
yes,
I look. I think from an attacking point of view, from an entertainment point of view, there is a huge difference now. I think the way that Liverpool are setting up is far more defensive.
Yeah, 100%.
And without that, in all games, they still putting a fair amount of goals past the lesser sides. But you're currently top of the league as opposed to clambering behind, where although you attacked brilliantly last year, there were lots of games that you threw leads away in because you continued to attack. Would you rather see Liverpool play this way all year? Your attacking players end the season on 15 goals each, but you win the title. Or, like a lot of Liverpool fans suggested last year, winning is not as important as entertaining football.
Let's have it right. Would you rather have an Alex Ferguson at Liverpool for the last 20 years winning all that titles? And let's be honest, most of the matches, the nitty-gritty was a very good defensive team he had all the time. Liverpool never had that since Benitez, and let's say that's 07, 08 season. Bar that, I'd rather see us play like this, grind results, and try and nick the title. But if it comes to goal difference, we're not going to compete with City. City have just got a second team that's
of course,
better than our second team.
True, and if you open up to try and score more goals, you're actually not going to. I think you'll get picked off more, and you won't actually accumulate as many points to stay. You might have as good a goal difference as City, but if you're 10 points behind them, it's irrelevant. So listen, I think you're absolutely right, and it's this argument I had with so many people last year. I understand the utopia is to create an attacking team who plays the most amazing football that wins the league at a canter. But when you're going up against...
Yeah, it's great, but last season we didn't win nothing. It's amazing. Yes, we can all look at that and laugh and say, yes, Liverpool were doing amazing, but we're not in the grand scheme of things. You know, we're going to look back in 10 years and say, oh, that season you lot played amazing.
Exactly. Exactly. And do you know what? When you go through it, right now you've got City that are dominating the English leagues, but when you look at the money they've got, it's hard. You know, France are dominating their leagues. The Spanish league is dominated by 2 teams that simply have all the money. Germany, it's 1 team with all the money. The point I make to a lot of people is it's so hard now to win league titles to go, we're just going to do it playing great football, because in nearly all the major leagues, you're going up against 1 or 2 teams who, even though Man United have a lot of money and so do Arsenal, and these clubs, it's a drop in the ocean compared to these super clubs. And when we've seen all the stuff that's recently come out about financial fair play and the fact that these elite clubs with the oil money, they don't even care about these rules because they'll just threaten to leave or they'll threaten legal action against UEFA. So, you know, what's going to stop these guys going, right, okay, we want to compete, we want to blow these our rivals out the water by even more? Let's just sign a new £2 billion sponsorship deal with another airline from the Middle East.
Yeah, there's always going to be a loophole.
They'll always, and again, their loophole is they think that financial fair play is like illegal, it restricts trading and this type of thing. And again, I don't want to get into the legal aspects of it, but we know they're just going to keep pumping more money in. So I think the only way you're going to compete is to have a balanced side that defends well, that's resolute, that doesn't lose a lot of games. That's the only. If you go out and try and beat, no one can compete with City in England right now in terms of, you know, they could afford to go out in the summer and buy 10 new players, and it wouldn't even touch the sides of their budget and their finances. So, you know, you've got to find, I think, intelligent ways of doing it. And I think Jurgen Klopp is, and I'm praising him here, he's onto a winner. He's onto a winner with the way he's changed his team this year. Mate, brilliant call as ever, mate. Thank you very, very much. Jay, you can end that caption now, my friend. Thank you.
Lucky
thank you.
Tough.
Listen, it's really great. 2 or 3 really good Liverpool fans calling tonight with intelligent views, man. Real honest ones who, again, have blown that nonsense. And that's all I wanted blown out of the water from last year. We all want brilliant football and winning titles. What you tend to actually get is a combination. And Liverpool will have, if they play every game, like they've set up this year, they'll end the season and there'll probably be 10 games that they can look back on and go, wow, we were amazing. There'll be another 10 where they can say, we did really well today. And then there'll be some where they go, got through that. And I remember the best Man United teams of, the sort of between 99 to 2003. I remember like 2007 to 2010. The amount of games in those periods where we were banging like 2-1s and 1-0s and scraping past people. It just happens. It's because actually Fergie knew what to do to win. And I think that, what Guardiola's doing is absolutely amazing. But think about what they're doing in the individual leagues. What City are doing, Munich, Juve, Barcelona, Real Madrid, and Real Madrid are off the pace this year. But as a general, if they had less money and it was more of an even playing field in their countries, would they be able to have that volume of quality players? I mean, all those teams pretty much just who's the up and coming players in our league? Right, we'll go and buy them. Yep. This happens all the time, and I think that the English teams, I like the way, and I think what Klopp's doing, he's being a bit more Pochettino now. It's balanced.
Yeah.
That makes again, and they're doing a lot better than the Spurs are, but Spurs didn't go and spend the money they did. I think what Pochettino's approach is brilliant in the Premier League. It's when it's going well, there is that balance between really good attacking football and a solid defense. And I think the Jurgen Klopp has gone away from that, what he would call that heavy metal football, good defensive work, and they really could win the league this year
into a soft rock kind of football,
indie rock,
indie rock.
Yeah, I don't listen to that kind of music. So I don't really know.
It's dead.
So. I wouldn't say. Yeah, I listen to NetBet. Yeah, by the way, J-Ron's in me here. NetBet. Make sure you go into our description below. Give it a little smack. Give it a little whirl. Download it for us. The promo code is FanPark. They let us know how many of you went on and signed up. It would be a massive honour to me if you could. Remember, they're a big offer. 40-1. Woo! 40-1 odds on Eden Hazard to score a goal anytime versus Crystal Palace tomorrow. So make sure you go and check
and he probably will,
out.
Man.
It's an interesting one. I think that Anthony Martial's the most informed. I'm saying he's the most informed player in the league right now.
I've heard.
Hazard's got to take that mantle back off him because he was until recently. So there we go. Listen, everyone who tuned in, thank you. Smash that like button. I'm going to go home because I need to go to bed because I am exhausted. Well done, Arsenal, today. Well done, Man United and Rashford for picking up their victory. Big congratulations, of course, to Leicester City today as well, who, they went and got that away victory after the toughest of weeks.
What was his name?
The owner.
Yeah.
Don't say that to me.
No,
joking. Actually, tough week for them and their club after the disaster that happened there. About this time, sort of 7 days ago. So, my heart goes out to them. It really, really does. But for everyone else, listen, take care. Good night. God bless. And we'll see you all again very, very soon. Bye-bye.